get my exemplars all prettied up so that when they go and die en masse, because that's really, I use exemplars as a buffer unit when I play. They're only 5 points for 6 of them, and so long as one of them survives, a last man standing is almost as effective as the entire group if I have Krios' feat turn. Because the rules for Knight's Exemplar are every time one of them dies, everyone else who is still alive gets +1 strength and +1 armor for each one that has died. And they keep that. It doesn't just disappear after the first round. It's just, they then have that. So the last man standing, and it's a unit of 6, the last guy there is power 16, power plus strength 16, weapon master. He's armor 20, and mat 7. He's a power 16 weapon master. He's as strong as Vilman, and on the feat turn he'll get 2 attacks. So the highest armor I've ever seen in War Machine was with Epic Fiora, and on the feat turn, when everything went perfect, I got myself up to armor 32. And that's like unheard of. The highest armor I've seen just base stat line is 21, and I think that was on Behemoth. Plus abilities, you'll usually see like the really top tier armors are like armor 23. That's a tough critter. Sometimes you'll see stuff like there's a Scorn unit that can get up to armor like 26 against ranged attacks, and they're very annoying. But for the most part, 23 is really top tier. So when you look at that, I'm rolling 4 dice plus 16 against 23, which is like the highest you're going to see. That's a lot of damage. Then he does it again. It's only 3 dice the second time, but he does it twice because of the feat turn. And he's hitting automatically, so you're guaranteed that you're hitting this thing. You're going to do damage. I mean, what's the average that you roll? You roll 14 average on 2 or on 4d6. So against armor 23, you're going to do 7 points of damage. That's a pretty good solid hit for a small infantry guy who's hitting a jack or beast that's been buffed and is probably worth more than his entire unit was worth. Never mind the fact that there's also spells into play that are making him that much stronger. And he's just one little dude. Or you throw him against an infantry unit, and there he is with armor 20, and he's actually annoying to have to get rid of because he's tough enough that a lot of small base infantry can't crack that kind of armor, or at least not easily. Everyone can usually do 20. But you're looking at like 8s, 9s, 10s. Those are the kind of dice rolls you need to kill those guys. Usually, like I said, there's tons of models in War Machine. Everybody can do something, and there's always someone that can kill your stuff. But for a 5 points, for getting 6 of these guys, and all I need is the last man, I think that is it's a steal. But there are Errants. Errants being the other version of Knights. Basically what they are is they're weapon masters, but they've only got a sword. They don't have the big swords that these guys have, even though these guys don't have reach, which I think they totally should have reach, because I want every special rule. But they don't have reach, but they do have crossbows that are blessed. And what blessed does for you is that you ignore spell effects that are increasing defense or armor. So for example, like I was saying there, when, oh look, you have a monster with armor 23, because he's got this buff that's giving him +3 armor, well ha ha ha, my blessed my blessed crossbow ignores your bonus. And so there you go, he's only armor 20. But that being said, these guys, their crossbows aren't very strong. They're only like, you're gonna need, you can't even hurt, you dice minus 10, there we go, let's say it that way, against an armor 20. You're gonna be rolling 11 and 12 to try and do damage. But you do have your Weapon Master sword. It's only POW 9, but you have a Weapon Master sword, which is always nice. And the big thing for them is that, one, they come in units of 10, as opposed to just 6. You can bring a full unit of 10. And they have a solo and unit attachments that go with them. Like the Exemplar Seneschal, he's good and all, but he doesn't really work with the Seneschals per se. Other than that, when they die, he gets stronger temporarily. And he just doesn't die, but the Exemplar Seneschal is like kind of an army on his own when he goes in there. He's just a dude that goes in and kicks everybody's butts. But anyway, the Errants Seneschal, he gives them all like Hunter, which basically means that they ignore concealment and cover when they're shooting at people, and It gives them other stuff too that I can't recall offhand. And not only that, the big combo that you always see with Errants, because they have this ability called Take Up, where if one of them dies, a different guy nearby dies instead. So if you're going to try and kill one to like clear up a charge lane so you can kill something else, well, haha, the guy over there actually died, not me. And then the added bonus to that is you bring Rupert, who is that one solo I mentioned earlier. One of his abilities is that he hands out Tough, which for anyone who's ever played Warhammer, it's effectively a 5-up save, which you don't get saves in this game. So you get a 1 in 3 chance that the guy that they attack, and you get this regardless. There's a few things that get rid of Tough, like Grievous Wounds and Crit Consume and Remove from Play and stuff like that, but usually you're going to get your Tough roll. So here you are, trying to charge this unit of 10 guys, and 1 in 3 times you attack, they just live anyway. And when you do kill them, they just kill a different guy than the guy you actually wanted to kill. And then the extra bonus is you bring the Covenant of Menoth, or the Testament of Menoth. It's the book, the big book, this thing right here that I need to fix. Big book. He's a whole story in himself of annoying abilities. But one of them is everybody within his command, which is 10, which is huge, can't be knocked down. Because normally when you pass Tough, you get knocked down. But with him, you don't get knocked down. So literally 1 in 3 chance you just negate an attack. In a 10-man unit. Or 11 or 12 or whatever it is with the UAs all attached. And so here you are with this giant unit of guys who have ranged weapons, melee weapons, they have assault, so when they charge in, they shoot you, then hit you with their swords. And they have Tough, and they can pick up. And they're pretty cheap too. They're not very expensive. Like, they're not a huge investment points wise. Probably like 15. I don't know what it is, but it's probably like 15 altogether for that little run. So I do understand that Errants are good, and I'll probably pick some up eventually, but for now I like my Knights Exemplar. They do what they gotta do. They hit really hard. I love it. And they look cool too. Once Privateer Press actually sends me the models, arms, because I'm missing a large portion of guys' arms, like 4 of them are missing arms. That's why the other group isn't even primed yet, because the pack that I got was missing a bunch of limbs, and the one here that I'm painting right now, even 2 or 3 of them, just one. I'm exaggerating. One of them is missing his arm. Focus for a second here while I do my highlights. There we go. Nice. He's a bit brighter now. He's got a nicer cloak. A little bit more of a touch up. There we go. There we go. There. A lot brighter than they were. This guy needs it too. So those are the events that are coming up soon that I can think of. Other than that, I'm sure your local areas are going to have regular tournaments and stuff like that, or hopefully they have that kind of stuff going on, because it is nice having a good support. Other than that, what have I been dealing with in War Machine recently? Jay has started playing his Signar army. He does have Signar. He's collected it for a while now. He's just finally getting painted because he's been finishing up all of his commissions, because he's no longer doing the painting service thing, which is unfortunate, but I can understand. He's a busy guy. So he's finishing up those, and he'll be able to start doing his Signar guys in more battle reports. You get to see him. I taught him, well, I didn't teach him it. He knew how to play for the most part, but I got to play against him, and I brought P. Denny with a bunch of Banes, which a lot of people commented on, saying like, oh yeah, that's a good teaching game. When I first learned how to play War Machine, which I didn't play War Machine before I worked here, but when I first learned how to play, Dan, MiniWarGamer Dan, he taught me how to play. In my first game of War Machine ever, I was playing Legion of Everblight, so I had the battle box, so I had my Carnivian, my Shredders, and what is her name? Vale? P. Vale? No, not Vale. Sorry, Lilith. P. Lilith. A little archer girl. And he brought Epic Haley with the jacks that have the 2 hammers. I can't recall, Storm something, Storm Smith, Storm, whatever. And he summarily crushed me. And then he did it again. And then he did it again. And then he went, okay, I'm going to bring a different caster. And he brought E-Striker. And then I played a different guy who was going to try and help me out, and he brought Ron. And so that was how I learned how to play War Machine. I think it is a better way to learn how to, like, a lot of people argue that, oh, always let the other person win. And I can understand where that comes from. I mean, like, you want to play, you're going to enjoy the game if you really, oh, I got him, I kicked his butt. But I like it more to learn how to play a game when I lose, but I see why I lost, and I understand what I could have done differently to make it so I don't lose. Like, when I'm playing a game, I'd rather lose a game and, like, oh yeah, that's what I gotta do. I gotta learn from my mistake. I mean, I didn't realize he did that, so I gotta make sure I don't fall for that trick again. Stuff like that. Like, basically learn from your mistakes. That's what I'm really a big fan of. I lost a tournament, like straight up lost a tournament, because I wasn't aware that the Crix unit, that 3-man unit, the Ghost, not the Coven, but basically their equivalent of the Black 13th, one of them has the ability to remove upkeeps, and I didn't know that he could do it, and he did it, and it made me lose admonition, and I lost my caster because of it. And then I lost the tournament. I came in 4th after that because of strength of schedule, and I only lost to the first place guy, which is a bummer, but it happens. So I learned my lesson, and I'm now aware of what they do, and I don't ever fall for that again. And the same goes for Haley, the same goes for always make sure you know how far your opponents can charge. Like, keep an eye on it, make sure they don't have some kind of super speed buff that they're going to pull out on you and get you caught. Watch out for really scary combinations. Like, I played against Chris, and he had a few casters, and like he had a solo spam, and basically what it did was they all removed points of armor. Like, they all debuffed my guy, or they buffed his damage. Like, he did like Kiss of Lilith, and then he did like a Rust Bomb, and then he did this and that, and I can't remember the names of all of them because he has like 9 different solos. And here he comes with Drake McBain against my armor 13 Judicator. Can't survive that. He was dice plus like 2 or something crazy against a Colossal, and then he just crushed me. But that's what I mean, you gotta be aware of these things. So now I know. And then Black Oil. If any of you know what that does, gotta watch out for Black Oil, because it'll kill you. So I learned my lesson, kill Gorman first. And like I said, it's really just, it's all a learning experience. Whatever beats you, like, I have a lot of trouble learning from an experience, like learning from a game if I win it, because you didn't need to do anything. You did what you had to do to win, and it worked for you. But if you lose your game, you did something wrong, or at least there was something that you could have done better. And of course it's true that dice can sometimes kill you. Like, if you roll really bad, I mean, there's nothing you can do that'll make that any better. But there's usually some tactical error. There's something that you missed, something that you weren't aware of, something that you didn't realize, something that you didn't think of. And the only trick to it, the only thing you have to do is make sure that you learn for the following game. The next time you play, don't get caught by those stupid solos. Don't get caught by removing upkeeps. Don't get caught by this. Don't get caught by that. Just make sure that you keep aware of that. So if you can do that, you'll do fine. Do I have any more wash left? I do. What time are we at here? Well, we're getting there. Another 15 minutes or so of this. And I got my bastions pretty well along. Got all their capes painted. I don't know if you can really tell from here. And I painted up my Knight Exemplar capes, or repainted them anyway to make them really more vibrant. Because the whole army's rather dark right now because I haven't put the basing on them, and I aim to just do it with the battlefield beads, or sand, or whatever it is. That's what I'm going to do. It's easy. Put up a few tufts of grass and call it a job well done. Is this stuff. That stuff. Alright. Krios. I have it on black. Because I don't want to go out and prime him because it's raining outside today. So I'm going to just add a little bit of black, which I know you shouldn't do. It's not the right thing because it's not really primer. But whatever. I'm not the pro painter. Go watch Chris if you want to know how to do everything correct. I'm just here to chat. But yeah, moral of the story is make sure you learn from your games. That's the biggest thing. If you find that you're continuously losing, it's because you're doing something wrong or you're incredibly unlucky. But more often than not, it's because you're not using something to its full effect. You're not doing something, and I find that's the case with me. If I lose a game after game after game after game, go back to the drawing table, look at what you have, think about, do I need to expand? Do I need something new to counter out? Like, is my army missing something? Am I not using something correctly? Should I try a different combination? Should I, like, what can I do before accusing them of being overpowered and broken and cheating and all the other things that you could do? First, look at your own army and think, what could I do to make my army work better than it does now? And once you've gone through it all, run it out again. If it doesn't work, try it one more time, because it might have been just dice. And if it still doesn't work, look towards getting new stuff. Because it may be that you just need, just the way you play, your models don't quite work. The way you think it doesn't quite run. Like, you can't be cautious if you're going to run E-Krios. You have to just go. Your army is, the more models you lose, the weaker your whole force is in more ways than one. Not just like, oh yeah, now I've got less guys, so I'm dying. But because your army is exponentially better the more models that are like that. The more guys that benefit from his feat, the better and better your army will do. So that's what I mean. Like, I attack. When I play my game, I move forward. When I start off, like, I'm never retreating. I'm never pulling back from what I want to do. I think one time I ran away with Fiora because it was her against like 3 Legion beasties and a caster. And even that, I didn't like doing it. I wanted to dive in and attack, but I just needed a few turns to build up my focus before I could do it, because I wanted to get all my upkeeps going and then attack when I had all my upkeeps up. Didn't work out for me. I'm pretty sure I got killed anyway. I don't know how long ago that bat went up, so hopefully I didn't spoil anything for you, but it was quite some time ago, before Mike moved away. But yeah, that's my advice, my 2 cents. If anyone's interested in listening to it, which if you're watching this, either you're crazy because you're watching this and you don't care what I have to say, or you may like listen to that. Either way, whatever floats your boat. I'm not judging you. Alright, what can we do? I want to paint them, but I want to paint him. I just added a bunch of black to him, so I gotta give that a little bit of time. Let's fix these guys' swords, make them a little bit prettier. Because right now, all I did was like silver. I painted them and most of my knights here all in one night because I was going to play Dan the next day. It was one of my first bat reps with a War Machine army. And so I needed to paint up enough models to be able to actually play. There we go. There we go. A little bit of a wash there, just to darken up the swords. I really wish these guys had reach. I was, after that tournament, myself, a couple of people from Black Knight, and then a couple of the regulars here, like Dave and who else was there? Chris was there, Tim was there. Basically, a bunch of people there. We all went out afterwards for a little bit, and they were talking about, I just listened to it, I didn't really have any input, but I listened to what they were saying is the best overall, like the best ability in War Machine, like what is the best effect. And the agreement pretty much all around was that reach is the #1 ability in the game, that the ability to have that 2-inch melee range is the greatest. And I agree. Like at first I was thinking otherwise, that there was like admonition would be really up there in my mind, but there's ways to get around that, and stealth, and basically other abilities like that. Eyeless Sight has a really good effect, but in the end I have to say that I do think reach is the greatest ability, because there are so many things that are dependent on either engaging or being engaged or within your melee range, that the gaining that extra 1.5 inches is just phenomenal. It makes such a difference to the game. If you can attack a guy and he can't attack you, or he can't reach you, he has to move forward, or you effectively get that extra 1.5 inches when you try and charge somebody. You don't have to be right up against them. You can get way more models in a combat if they have reach. You can, like, there's just, the list goes on of things that happen when you have that extra 1.5 inches, and I'm sure all of you can figure them out. But leave a comment below, let me know what you think is the best ability in War Machine. And like I said, I think it is reach. I agree that it is reach, but everyone has their own opinion. So leave a comment and let me know what you think. But I think I'm going to wrap this up. I've got a bunch of painting done for now, and remember, this is just the first video. There will probably be a number of more vlogs, and I'll see if I can paint some on my own time, of course, as well. Like, I'll be painting all the time, because I want to get everybody painted up. But yeah. Stay tuned, MiniWarGamers. I'm sure we'll have another long discussion. Leave a bunch of comments below. Any questions, anything that you want me to answer, anything really. Just any questions at all, wargaming or not. And I'll answer them. Print that off before we go into the next video. So, happy wargaming.